Hi everybody. This video is sort of a response to Charlie McDonald's most recent video, but it's also a response to Mickeleh's recent video, in which he talks about how Charlie's video, if you guys haven't seen it, there's a link in the description, helps us, is sort of like a rallying call for creators to say, I also am terrified, and I think that's probably beyond creators, because we sort of are all creators. That's one of the great things about this brave new world. But even before this brave new world, we were all creators. We create friendships, we create our personas, we create ideas, and so and the creating those things is terrifying, because you're creating them to get people to the point is to get people to accept and enjoy you and like you, and to make your impact on the world be a positive one. And there's no guarantee that that's going to work, that the way that you create yourself and also things to share with people, because creating yourself is kind of a thing that you create to share with people. It's a creation. And we don't think of it that way, and there's this idea that you should just be yourself, and I've never liked that idea. Of course, you should just be yourself. You shouldn't try to pretend to be something that isn't comfortable to you. But what is yourself? I didn't get like a little description when I, turned 13 that said, like, here's the kind of person you are. When you drink out of cups, you stick your pinky out, and when, you like your hair to be this way, and you're nerdy, so you should wear glasses, and you don't get that. You don't get to find out who you're supposed to be. That's not a thing. It would be nice if it was. But so we're all sort of creating, and I haven't really explored this very far, but I find it fascinating, so maybe I'll make a more complicated video about this in the future. But we're all the idea of self is a creation, and it's created by the individual who possesses the self. Now, there are contributions to that. Each of us creates based on frameworks, like expectations that our parents or teachers or friends have of us. Like, those go into our creation of the self, and there are the expectations of culture and society and television and magazine ads, so that's all creation, and just like putting a YouTube video online is terrifying, being a person in the world is terrifying, and talking to someone and showing them yourself, and not just yourself, but like the creation that you've laid on top of yourself. But then and that's less terrifying oftentimes. Even if the fake thing that you're creating is less enjoyable and less cool than the thing underneath. Sometimes it's better to share that fake thing. Not better, but sometimes it feels better to share that fake thing, because at least they aren't judging you. They're judging the fake you that you've put out there for people to look at. And that's fascinating, because it's a terrible thing to do, but it's entirely inspired by fear, and working upon in that way is never a good idea. It's never a good idea to have all of your creations inspired by fear, and that generally turns out to be bad. But it's fascinating to think that we will sometimes do that we'll sometimes create this sort of fake us to share with people, because it's less scary to share the fake thing, because at least then they're not judging the real thing. The question, of course, being then what the real thing is. Because if you adopt a fake persona, you eventually just start to feel like that person, and that's especially bad if you've created it just as a shell, just as a wall to protect you from other people. And so it's one thing to say, Charlie, that you've inspired people like me, fellow creators, to say, yeah, I mean, when I'm making things, it's really scary to say, okay, I have to put this out in the world and see if people are going to like it or not. I honestly, I honestly don't think that, Charlie, that is necessarily your problem. I don't think I don't necessarily think that that's Charlie's problem. I think Charlie's problem is more like he holds himself to a very high standard more than the people who watch him hold him to a high standard. Of course, we do like to be entertained by him, but it is not like we're ever disappointed by a Charlie video. That's one of the amazing things about Charlie videos. This is turning out to be a very long video, and I apologize. But it's also a call out to all people who create, which includes all people. And to say, yes, I acknowledge, and we should all acknowledge, that we are terrified of not being accepted, of our creations not being accepted, and the most important creation that we all have and that we all share with the world is the creation of self. And so we have to share that, and we have to accept that some people aren't going to like it, and some people are. But the most important thing is that we create a self that we think is is positive, and that we that is in line with our values, and that creates a better world. And the great thing about creating self is that if you do it well, then you become a good person, and that's pretty cool. So everyone, keep making cool selves out of yourself, and don't make fake selves to protect yourself, and then on top of all of that, don't be afraid to share it, because if we learn anything from Charlie and from YouTube in general, it's that people sharing themselves is a really wonderful and wonderful thing for them and for the people who get to watch. So, and that goes for friendship as much as it goes for YouTube, even more so. So thank you everyone for watching this 7-minute long Hank's channel video. If you got through all of it, maybe I can condense this down into something a little bit more pithy and well structured for a Vlogbrothers video or something.